In this chapter, we're going to focus on creating the kitchen. We'll start with creating the base cabinets, then we'll create the wall cabinets, then add the cabinet doors. We'll do the countertop, apply some materials, and then lastly, we'll add some real products using a database in SketchUp called the 3D Warehouse. In the working files, you'll notice a kitchen dimensions JPEG that just gives some cabinet dimensions as well as the dimensions for the doors and just some general fit outs of the area. This is a good way to start, and we're going to follow most of these dimensions. We may just fudge certain areas to make the model work. I'm not really concerned about getting this completely accurate. We just want it to be visual and pretty close to what is actually there. Let's go back into our model, and we'll start with the base cabinets. Just take the tape measure tool, draw a guide 2 feet out, 2 feet out. Going from the left here, this is 66.5 inches. What I like to do is just start with our first rectangle and then draw everything else from there. The height, you have a 3-inch base, and then it goes up 32 inches. Let's select all of this, triple click, go to Edit, Make Group, double click to enter our group, and let's use Move Copy. Copy this over 2 feet, push this out 27.5 inches, and then let's use the guide from this point here over 15 inches, and from this point here over 36.5. Take the line tool, draw a line straight down, draw a line straight down, select the middle line there, and just move this over the green axes. Those guides really helped us define where those endpoints were for this cutout. So this gives us our basis for the base cabinets here. Let's just add the kick plate here, which is up 3 inches. Select the bottom 3 edges here. Take the Move Copy tool and just copy this up 3 inches. And then take the line tool and draw a line from here just a 1/2 inch back and then down the edge. Next, take Follow Me, and we'll use Follow Me to cut out the area there. We can't use Push-Pull because when you push-pull, in this video, let's go ahead and add the wall cabinets. It's a little bit more challenging than creating the base cabinets in that we have to start at some point from the base cabinet and then draw up. What I usually like to do first is just draw a guide on the wall. Take the tape measure tool, and from this wall line here, there's a 4.5 inch bulkhead. And then from that guide there, the cabinets actually go down 28.75 of an inch. I'll then just take the rectangle tool, just draw a rectangle here, and let's push this out 12 inches. And push this so that it aligns to the base cabinet. Copy this 12 inches. Push this all the way to here. Then use the Option key and push this out 30 inches. This is the cabinet that goes above the oven. So take the guide, draw this down 13.75 of an inch. And then simply just take the Push-Pull tool and push that up. Just going to hide the rest of the model. Delete the guides that we have in here. I'm going to draw a guide to create the angled cabinet here. Draw this out 24.5 inches. And the distance for this end is 42 inches from the right side. Take the line tool, bring that down. Pre-select the line and just move that over till it intersects on that green axis. Now there's 2 cabinets on this right wall, so I can just draw that from the midpoint there. This is 2 cabinets as well. And this is 2 cabinets. So again, drawing from the midpoint down. Now this cabinet here is also 2 cabinets. However, we're going to add a dishwasher in here, which is something this Now that we have the base cabinets and the wall cabinets created, we can add some detail by creating the cabinet doors. For this, we're going to keep it pretty simple. And it's really just an exercise in offset and push-pull. Let's go ahead and just take the offset tool, and we're going to offset these 1/2 inch. And then simply just double-click on all the cabinets that we want to offset. On the base cabinets, this wall here is actually 4 separate cabinets. So let's first take the line tool and divide this into 4 separate pieces. This cabinet here is a fake door for underneath the sink. And you just want to make sure that you're drawing in that magenta color there. Just use offset again and double click to repeat your offsets. Just use offset again, 1/2 inch. We want to put a dishwasher in here, and dishwashers are typically 24 inches wide. So let's take the push-pull and push-pull this over 24 inches. And then you'll see we're left with approximately 6 inches. It's sort of a wasted space. So what we're going to do is create a wine cabinet here. Typical wine bottles are anywhere between 3.5 inches in diameter, and they're somewhere between 11 and 13 inches long. So let's create a little opening here. Start with a 1/2 inch. And let's push-pull this face back 14 inches. Next, let's draw a shelf. Take a guide, draw this down 6 inches, and draw a guide up 1/2 inch. Take the rectangle tool, draw that face there. It's going to create the additional faces here, which you can select and then erase. Just simply take the select tool, double click, make this a component. Let's call this wine shelf. Replace selection with component checked on, and click create. Double click on that, unhide the model, and let's push this back 14 inches. Let's figure out how many copies we want in here. And we need about 4 inches. Draw a guide right there. Move this up. And with the 1/2 inch there, let's copy this down 4.5 inches. And then maybe 5x. The bottom shelf we're just going to leave flat, but for the components, typically you want to have wine angled. Take the select tool, double click to enter the component. Let's hide the rest of the model. That way we can see just the rest of our shelves. And let's zoom in. Select this back face, and let's move this down 2 inches. Take the select tool and just click outside. And now, as you can see, we have our shelves on a subtle angle, which is perfect for our wine. Just take the push-pull tool, and let's push these out 1/2 inch. Delete the guides. And we're moving right along. Next, let's add the countertop, and then we'll add some materials and some appliances. In this video, let's go ahead and create the countertop. We'll use the base cabinet as a reference point, and what we'll do is just take the line tool and just trace over the existing geometry. And this is outside of the group. That way we have a face. Let's go to Edit, Make Group. Let's double click on that. This is 1.5 inches tall. Unhide the rest of the model. Push this out to here. Since we kept those guides, that's really where the dishwasher is going to be. Now the front of this overhangs 1 inch. And there's a couple ways that we can fix this overhang. One is we can take the select tool, select the 3 elements, bring this out 1 inch, and then take the line tool, heal that edge, and heal this edge to create the face, and then just push-pull that down. The other way that we could do it is how we did the kick plate, in which we used Follow Me. Now, in the way that we did this here, the only thing you have to do is to remember to erase your extra geometry. You could also turn on the X-ray mode to see through your model. And that way you're erasing any additional surfaces that may be hidden. That's going to help keep our model clean. Turn X-ray mode off. Now let's go ahead and add a texture to the countertop. I'm really trying to convince my wife that we should install a concrete countertop. What we can do in our model here is just open up the countertop, go to File, Import, and import the exposed concrete detail texture that we have in our working files. And just apply that onto the top face. Press the paint bucket, then Command to sample that, and then Shift to apply it to the other sides. Let's move on and add some other textures within the model, including the backsplash and the actual textures for the cabinets. There are a few kitchen textures that we want to add in this model. Let's make sure first we can click on the wall texture here. And what we want to start with is the backsplash. Take the rectangle tool and start in this top corner here. Draw down this bottom corner. Draw another rectangle from here to here. Another one from here to here. And then one from here all the way down to the back edge. Control H just to hide our cabinets since we're in the first floor group. And we can erase these edges. So these are the faces that are going to make up the backsplash. What's nice is we can actually right click and select area and then selection. And then you can see roughly how many square feet of tiles you'll need if you actually are trying to remodel this or redo this. And this is actually something we're looking to do. Next, just go to File, Import. We're going to select the subway tile texture. Click Import. And the subway tile, this texture is 6 inches tall since each tile is a 3 by 6 inch tile. So that's 6 and then Enter. And then we'll sample that and apply it to the other side. Control H just to unhide the rest of our model. Let's go to File, Import. And for the ground texture, we're going to import this zigzag paving texture. It'll stay with the authentic, original, old school house that this is. Let's just place this in here, 6 feet. Next are the actual cabinets. Let's click out of the first floor group and make sure we can click to select inside of our cabinet geometry. Go to File, Import. And we like this washed wood texture. Go ahead and import that. And I usually like to import the largest texture first. That way you won't see as many seams if the texture has any seams in it. And with that applied, you can take the paint bucket tool, sample that, hold down Shift, and apply it to the rest of the geometry. So on this wall, we want to import a texture since the plain geometry and material in SketchUp here usually looks pretty flat. Let's first make sure with the Select tool that we're inside that group so that we can select it. And then let's go to File, Import. And you'll notice the drywall texture that we have here. This is just a simple little texture in SketchUp. I'm going to scale this to be 3 feet. In some cases, it can also resemble plaster. We're just going to paint this on the side 2 walls, as well as up here and up here. Click out. Delete the guides that we have here. So again, adding appliances to the kitchen can be pretty easy as long as you know what you're looking for. It would take us a lot of time to look at products online on various different appliance websites like Sears or LG or KitchenAid. Wouldn't it be great if we had just one database that housed all of that geometry and all of those products? We're actually really fortunate because we do have something like that. That's the 3D warehouse. The 3D warehouse can be accessed by going to sketchup.google.com/3D warehouse. The 3D warehouse is an online repository of free SketchUp models. And these are designed by users like myself and any other person in the world that wants to add content and share it with other users. You'll notice here, like with the extension warehouse, that you have to sign in to your Google account. But here you can actually browse different collections. You can see different products, different manufacturers that have created components. And you can also search as if you were doing any kind of Google search. So we want to search for kitchen appliances. And we don't want to search models. Let's just look at that real quick. It's going to spit out a lot of different kitchen appliances, and some of these are great. There's some certainly good models here. But instead, we want to search kitchen appliances and we want to search collections. Why we search collections is because certain manufacturers have collections of all of their products. For example, you can search all of Whirlpool's products, and here we can search KitchenAid's products. We'll click on the KitchenAid dynamic component, and now you can actually take a look at these real-world models that you can simply download and just drop into your SketchUp model. Here's a great one for the range that I've been looking for. What's great about the 3D warehouse, you can click on the 3D view. You can actually orbit around and see the model. And then when you're satisfied, you can just click download. You can download it into your folder. Now there's another way that you can import models into SketchUp from the 3D warehouse. That's actually within the component browser in SketchUp. So if you go to Window Components, it's going to bring up your component browser. You can actually type in here, KitchenAid range. It's going to show us that range. And instead of downloading it, it's just going to download this directly to your model. And now you can just click and set it in place. Let's move along and add a In this section, we're going to add the sink and the refrigerator. Let's start with the refrigerator. We only have 34 inches of space here for our refrigerator, so our options are pretty limited. Let's go to Window Components, and let's search for a 32-inch refrigerator. Click on this first one, and let's drop it in the model. Next, use the Move tool, rotate this 90 degrees, set it in the green axis, and then set it in the red axis. Now we don't want the door to flip this way, so right-click, go to Flip Along, and then select the red axis. And then let's move it off the wall 1 inch. For the sink, we have a component that we downloaded. It's in the Working Files folder. But before we import it, we want to select the countertop face. That way we know we're inside this group. Next, we can go to File Import and select the file Undermount Kitchen Sink, and then click Import. Now, a nice feature within this component, depending on where it's placed, it's going to intersect and cut the opening out for our model. Rotate this, move it down a little bit. And then lastly, take the paint bucket and sample the concrete, open up the component, press the paint bucket again, hold down Shift, and apply the concrete texture to the edges there. And what we essentially did was create that sunken face there for the countertop. Now we can import the dishwasher, but first click out of the countertop group, and then go to File Import. Select the tub dishwasher SA file. Just drop this in the model. Rotate it 90 degrees. Set this back. Move this over a little bit. And we could probably set this point right here, right there in our model. So there we have it for the kitchen. We have all of our appliances in. We have the textures for the ground, the backsplash, cabinets. We have our sink in. You can use the 3D warehouse. You could even add the actual faucet. You could add the cabinet door handles and any other small elements that'll bring this to life. For example, we could add the wine bottles here, maybe a paper towel holder, mixer, toaster, maybe a coffee maker. With this kitchen example, we introduce you to the 3D warehouse. In the next chapter, let's show you some other databases that you can access SketchUp models from.